So the goal of socialism is communism. It always has been. And Canada in recent years has been moving further and further towards just that. Now there are calls from our government. That's right. The new Democrats in government are calling for the government to take on the task of running the grocery stores. That's right. Now, we all know what that might end up looking like. But did you know that it was actually an American grocery store that took down communism? Ladies and gents, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Clyde. The subscribe button is just down below. Let's get into this story. And before we do, I just want to say I am a big fan, a giant fan of the market economy. That's right. I'm one of them dirty capitalists, of course. And in Canada, we are not allowed to do that. It's frowned upon. There was this guy for the last few years, and he left us a legacy. He took over the new Democrat Party in Canada and took it down another path towards communism, socialism. What do you want to call it? What are we calling it these days? Either way, it's this collective good. We're all going to become a new man, and we're not going to enjoy the market economy anymore. No, we're going to just share everything. Now, the calls for the grocery stores to be taken down in Canada are not new. Jagmeet Singh had been calling for this for some time, and it's graduated. But let's hear what he originally had to say. This is before he was ousted from his party, and he's walked off into the sunset, of course.
Our plan is this. We're going to force corporate grocery stores to lower their prices, or else we will impose price caps. This is about using the power we have to actually make life more affordable. So if corporate grocery stores want to keep on ripping off Canadians, we're sending them a message. Lower your prices, or else. To Justin Trudeau, enough's enough. Stop letting these corporations rip off Canadians.
So this guy doesn't really understand the simple supply and demand. If you increase the population of a country by millions of people, suddenly there's more mouths and there's more demand for a product that is only so much supply. So the grocery stores end up going up in prices. And not only that, when you're inflating the currency and there's general economic downturn because of the policies of the government, prices go up. And that's what's been happening across Canada. Now that he's gone, the NDP are scrambling for more votes. And where are they turning? Well, they're turning to implementing national grocery stores. That's right. The NDP want to create a government grocery store so you can save the 6% margin, but pay the workers $45 an hour with your taxes. That's right. This is exactly the wrong idea, but this is what the NDP have brought forward for all of us. Let's just hear what they have to say here.
You have been good about putting out some policy. I want to ask you about your policy, and this is about grocery stores. You want to do a wealth tax. You want to do a cap on rent increases. People really like hearing that. Talk to me about your plan for grocers, this option that you want to put in place.
Well, listen, this is a fantastically popular policy that I think we can win with. Canadians want to see when you have market failure, like you have these big corporations that dominate every sector. It's the same with the food system, right? 3 big grocery chains, and we know that they price fix and price gouge. We need a public option.
You want a public grocery store for people to access.
The federal government has the capacity to, at the federal level, with federal money and a national reach, actually negotiate with the distributors of food and actually provide retail, maybe owned by municipalities, to actually provide nonprofit food to people, because people cannot get by when they're paying $300 for a cart of groceries. Just like when the market fails any industry, the government has to step in and actually provide an alternative that is not in the market mindset where everything has to make a big profit.
To some people, that will seem like a very socialist policy, getting back to where Canada is politically right now. Are people open to something that could be that far left on the political spectrum?
Ask young people what they think is socialism. Taking care of each other instead of this supposedly competitive system we have where actually big players just dominate everything and rip us off. We need a public option.
Well, people might surprise you. The Canadians might actually choose something like this. It's unbelievable. You give Canadians real options and look what they choose. I mean, we have Mark Carney as our prime minister. I mean, I digress on that one. But what do grocery stores really look like? We got an idea from the Soviet Union what grocery stores typically look like. when the government runs them. And we know exactly this, but this is the most amazing. That's amazing. But what's the most amazing thing is the fact that it was actually an American grocery store that really turned the tide of history back during the Soviet Union, when Boris Yeltsin came for a visit to the United States, came to Texas. And from secondstreet.org, they put out a video talking about this exactly, or just 2 years ago.
Did you know that Jell-O pudding pops played a role in dismantling communism in the former Soviet Union? Back in 1989, Boris Yeltsin, a high-up communist politician, made a trip to the United States. This was 2 years before he became president of the Soviet Union. At the time, he was shown a NASA space station and had other important meetings with government officials. But of everything he saw, it was a trip to a simple American grocery store called Randall's that would prove to be the most important. Yeltsin and his team dropped in with little notice to the grocery store in Texas. He was shocked at the huge selection of food that was available to everyday people in the US. Just look how excited he is here to see some simple frozen treats like Jell-O pudding pops. According to media, Yeltsin told his colleagues that if the Russian people saw how superior US supermarkets were, quote, there would be a revolution. Unlike in Russia, American customers didn't have to wait in line for hours just to get in. This simple visit would play a huge role in his decision to take the Soviet Union away from socialism and towards a market-based economy. Yeltsin would later write in his autobiography, "When I saw those shelves crammed with hundreds, thousands of cans, cartons, and goods of every possible sort, for the first time I felt quite frankly sick with despair for the Soviet people. That such a potentially super rich country as ours has been brought to a state of such poverty. It is terrible to think of it." To hear stories from Canadians who have lived in socialist or communist countries, please visit secondstreet.org. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
So these are the lessons that we should have learned long ago, but we seem to have forgotten our ways, and we've seemed to forgotten just how bad it can actually get. Again, if the government were to run grocery stores, absolutely, how terrible could it get? But this is actually on the table here in Canada. We have they're a smaller party in the parliament, but they're actually have elected leaders. This is crazy that we're actually discussing the advent of the Canadian National Grocery Store. This is just beyond me, moving forward into this communist government that we see here. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. And of course, we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.